Welcome to episode 9 of Realty Talk with
Ellie
and Galen. We're back for another week. Episode 9. We're doing really good about staying consistent, and this is kind of how we roll. I don't know if anybody can hear the train going in the background, part of the charm of the station, but we didn't want to waste time because we're on a time crunch, so we just said we're just going to roll right through the train. So that's a little background music for you all listening on the airwaves. So, Ellie, two things we want to talk about. We'll talk about the one you just brought up. We'll talk about that first. So what was the topic that you had just mentioned?
oh boy.
Putting her on the spot here.
People who like to talk a lot to beyond the point of purpose, I guess.
Okay.
How to deal with that.
So you had that today. You're talking to a potential client that kept you on the phone probably for 15-20 minutes. Gave you the runaround.
Probably more. Yeah, just telling me the whole life story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how'd you deal with that?
I just told them that I had to be here and
Okay. All right. So no, that's fine. We can. So how I usually approach that. So there's different. We kind of talked about again the fun part about this is that Ellie's a brand new agent. I've been doing this for a while. So how I would have responded back when you were there would be the same thing. Probably would have just let them talk and try even though it's painful, go along with it. Now, what do I do now? I definitely am usually doing other stuff while they're talking, depending where I am. So if I'm at the office, I'm literally doing work and stuff as they're just kind of talking on and on. But also, I think that's important for people, and as you get busier, you'll notice this, is that time is way more valuable than anything. So I can't, as much as I'd love to talk to you for 15-20 minutes on the phone, it's not a good use of my time during the day, so I'm usually quicker to get people off the phone. Not rudely, but you do have to end the conversation.
Yeah.
The other thing that I kind of wanted to touch on, and I don't know, this person could be super serious and want to buy, but there's times where people call you, and I think you had mentioned they give you the old, well, I've been looking for a couple years. Okay, so where does that fall in line with somebody that is actually looking to now, do I discount them? No, I'll still work with them, but you got to be able to qualify them a little bit and say, okay, you've been looking at homes for a couple years. What's your experience? What have you been finding? Well, because usually what happens if somebody's been looking that long, they're probably somebody that wants a good deal, wants a fixer-upper, wants to flip, wants all these little buzzword terms, and they're looking at a house that's what's your budget? I'm just going to say $50,000 or under. Okay, cool. What are you trying to get out of that? Well, they want a house that's probably worth 100 to 150 for 50,000.
Yep.
Not gonna happen. It's not out there. No, if it was out there, you would be up against a whole army of people trying to make an offer. So you gotta always gotta kind of. This is something that I found out very early because you don't want to waste your time. Is to actually see are they qualified? Are you buying cash? Or are you going financing? If you're going financing, have you talked to a bank? Okay, cool. You're doing a USDA loan at $50,000. Not gonna happen. Basically meaning that it's not going to pass a USDA appraisal. There's more criteria, there's more guidelines that have to be met than versus traditional conventional mortgage. So you always want to try to get that out of them in the sense of, are they actually serious? Now, if they're just sitting there and they're looking for that diamond in the rough, that's fine. You can do that. I do not want to be a part of that. It's not in a bad way. I just don't have the time. And I have other people. I have to make a living. I can't sit here and just like run around on a scavenger hunt with you trying to find this home that I know the odds of you finding, especially with their kind of standards, are probably,
minimal.
Probably never going to happen. So I think the biggest thing is not necessarily someone that talks. I've had great clients that are talkers, but and some of the most friendly people are the ones that will talk to you forever.
The best.
but the thing is, you got to find where it becomes friendly to where are they actually just sucking time out of your day. And there's a point where you really do have to just say, hey, listen, then there's sometimes I won't pursue it, where I'll be like, yeah, that's kind of hard to find under 50. I mean, keep your eyes peeled, hope you find something. If you ever have questions, you can certainly reach out, but it's probably not going to happen, or it's a very slim chance. I'd never set an expectation that I'm going to call back. I never schedule them to call back. Those are just people that you talk to once and usually you never hear from them again, but you got to know when to kind of cut them loose. Now, it's different. Obviously, if this is your first, few clients that you're dealing with, you don't want to really discount anybody. Obviously, if they can't purchase a home, then yes, discount
Yeah.
because that's the only thing that you can really, that will really limit, and there's no reason to go around showing people homes that have no intention to buy or financially can't purchase.
Yeah.
But if there's someone that can, they're qualified, they have the money to purchase, they are serious about at some point in time buying a home, but maybe not right off, you can still, be in contact. Their motivation's going to change in time.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily, completely discount them early, especially if you don't have, like we talked about the last podcast, if you have a lot of time, but don't have a lot of clients, then you can't be choosy.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I'm probably in my second year, I even kind of argue first to second year, where I'm starting to just, now that we have a little bit more of a team here, I'm giving other agents stuff because I can't do it all. Like I'm finding that I'm just stretching myself too thin on certain deals, and I would love to help everybody, but I'm really limited, and I've gotten to the point now where I am being choosy, but this is, and not all the time. I mean, I'm talking like 10 to 20% of the time I might pick and choose who I want to work with. Most of the time I will work with you, obviously, because how I make a living. But again, it's my time. Like, my time is not best spent, and it could be something like I could do an extra deal and help you out, but what am I actually making on that deal? And I'm not a very money motivated person, but I also have to be smart about it. If I'm making $800 on a low end deal, to be honest, I'm better off doing marketing. I'm better off going to different events. I'm better off, there's better ROI positive things for me than going around trying to find these kind of hard to find homes or deals that I know I'll be doing 5 times the effort for a fifth of the reward kind of thing. So that's just, at that point I gotta make a strategic business decision. But usually, like I said, as a newer agent, I may give them to you, and I mean, are they the best clients? No, but when you don't have clients, some clients are better than no clients,
Yeah,
So, and if anything, you learn stuff, and there's stuff that I've done in my career that I'm not proud of from kind of a lack of knowledge standpoint. We talked about like running out to show a house for somebody 40 minutes away that I didn't know if they were qualified or what, and they looked at it and that was it.
Yeah.
Like, I would not have, back then it didn't really matter. I mean, it was that or I just sat around and did nothing, as the alternative, so it probably wasn't a big deal. Today, there's no way in heck I'm going out to waste my time, for even an hour to go show a property that I know the person can't afford.
Yeah.
So there's certain things, but we talked about time wasters. I don't know if they're necessary. There's talkers that they're sucking your time of the day, but they will at some point purchase. But there's also the ones that will just give you the runaround, or they start talking and you just know they're not in a financial position to purchase. I unfortunately, my time is valuable, and I can't. I look at it, it's either taking time away from work, or it's taking time away from my family, or taking time away from something else where I'm just sitting there wasting that kind of time during the day. Do you have anything more on that?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Like, I don't want people who talk a lot. I like it better, at least if someone's friendly, where instead of you feel like you're pulling a conversation from them forcibly versus when they're very comfortably talking. But there are people who sometimes just
long-winded. Yeah. And I think that's a good segue into, this is something that I'm struggling with more so than I ever have, just because of my progression in my profession, and then also being, having a child. It's just the idea that my time managing, I've always been very good at time managing. I still think that I'm a lot better than most people, but where my standards are and where I'm at always seems like I'm lacking behind, where I should be more efficient in my time. And I think part of it, we've talked about what I call my 3 hats, meaning agent, kind of business developing, growth of our actual company, and then the third one being a lot of just my marketing and social media presence and things like that. To me, there are 3 full-time jobs that I'm cramming into a week, because I could easily spend a full week on all 3 of those jobs. So me, it's like, how do I figure that out without burning myself out, without taking time away from my family, without having one of those kind of balls in the air falter. Like if I'm spending too much time, on certain business aspects, am I lacking on generating business for our company? Or if I'm spending too much time on meetings, like networking meetings or developing with different people or referral partners, but it's taken away from my clients that I'm working with. It's a day-to-day struggle, you know,
Yeah.
not getting messages returned. I'm still fairly quick at it, but not as quick as sometimes I would like. Now, granted, part of that is just the expectation I put on myself, not necessarily outside expectation.
Yeah.
But I also hold myself at a high standard, and I try to hold myself and try to at least stay at that level, or and always looking to improve. So, have you had any? Obviously, you're juggling a full-time job with this, with everything else in your life, and time managing is obviously probably something that you, as I think with everybody, struggle. I'm sure there's times that you look in your day and just you think back, well, man, I really wasted the last half hour doing whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so what is kind of your crux on that on a day to day, and then I'll kind of go into what my biggest negative would be, because I got two of them. But what are your biggest negative? I think we've talked about this in the earlier podcast, but I think now that you've been in a little bit longer, you know, even just a couple months in, you probably perspective might change a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of curious as to what you think.
My biggest struggle is probably I have a very hard time getting out of bed, and I want to get up at 4:30 every morning to go to the gym, and I haven't done that in like 2 weeks, and I just.
Does John know this?
He does.
Okay.
He's like, I can shake you awake if you want. Like, if you want to lose a tooth.
Put the air horn on.
Yeah. But I mean, I've gotten much better. I really like blocking out stuff. You know, block out time to sleep, block out time to read or take a shower, block out time to take the dog for a walk, and planning stuff very carefully to make sure that I have enough time for everything. The biggest thing I'm worried about going forward is having time. You know, especially right now with work, I've been putting in probably about 50 hours a week in the office, and it's half an hour away, which is not convenient at all. Mm-hmm. So I'm very concerned about looking going forward. It's going to be tight trying to schedule showings when I'm in Keysville from 7:30 till 4:30 or 5. And that's, I mean, I know I'll make it work, but that's going to be tight, I think, for a while.
Well, I think the benefit, a couple things, is a lot of people do look on the evenings and weekends, because a lot of times our job is when people are off, obviously. Yep. So that's why sometimes our hours are crazy. The other thing is the benefit of having a group of people that work with you is that, you know, I've had you do this before for me, and it's kind of the same thing. Reciprocate it back and say, hey, listen, Thursday's the only night they can go. They need to go at 3 o'clock. I'm not out till 4. Can you cover it? And that's something we can do. You know, and we'll make time. So I think that part of it. I think like I said, as you get busier, it's just, you know, we've talked about that transition hopefully over the next couple of years for you.
Yeah.
And I think I've gotten to the, like, again, me in my 9th year, it's just anything that I've brought on because of my own doing. And I think because of my, you know, success that I'm slowly trying to get to is that I just bring on more opportunities and bring on more, all good. Like, I don't complain about any of it, but it does force me to try to be more efficient at stuff. And my biggest thing is, the only bad part is I'm trying not to cut corners or not deliver at the same, again, my expectation, or feel that I'm not delivering at a certain expectation. Now, certain things have to take a back seat, yes, like certain recreational things have taken a back seat, which is fine. I like what I do, so I don't really look at, like, you know, I used to golf a lot. That doesn't really happen anymore. I like, you know, hanging out with my friends. Well, now that I have a family, my big things that I try to prioritize is business, my family, and health, like physical, going to the gym. Out of the 3, which one lacks the most? It's going to the gym, and that's something we've talked about and I struggle with. But mine, we talked about time blocking. Like, I try to get to bed by 10. Yeah. Because I got to wake up at 4:45 if I want to go to the gym, which I try to do. But I mean, even my friends will laugh at me and say, you know, I try, but I'm, you know, my goal is to go to the gym 3 to 5 days a week if possible. There's days like this week I probably will go 2, you know, and to be honest, today's Wednesday and I haven't gone at all. So I'm going to try to go tomorrow, Friday, and maybe Saturday if I can swing it and get 3 days in. And to me, it's more just kind of getting in, checking the box that I went. But it's a struggle for me because if I don't go to bed at 10, the other night I didn't get home till 9, you know, and I was eating dinner at like 9:30. That sometimes happens. I'm not going to bed at 10. I went to bed at like 11:30. I'm not getting up on 4 to 5 hours of sleep and going to work out and
Yeah.
spend the whole day, you know, kind of hustling and doing everything else. So it's just it's all choices that we make. But that's probably my biggest thing. So I'm always trying to, you know, but opportunities happen during the day. I don't want to rush people during the day because there's some, you know, I have some very good meetings. I have some very good, I meet with some very good people throughout the day that maybe hour of my time is something I don't want to schedule them for 20 minutes to a half hour,
Yeah.
even though I probably should schedule meetings half the time that I do just for, but you know, it depends. Like sometimes with us, I find that I know you a little bit better, or some people I know a little bit better, I might rush the meeting a little quicker, not in a bad way, but we kind of cut out the idle chit chat and try to hammer stuff out.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's always going to be an evolution as to how we, you know, I grow in that aspect, but that's been a struggle, but part of it's a learning curve, you know, kind of stepping more into like a mentor leadership position is something I haven't done in a professional setting. Obviously, I had to do that with coaching, you know, so I did that for 8 years, and that was something that so I had the background in it, but it's just different. It's a different field, it's a different age group, it's different type of, you know, it's all just stuff I'm learning. But I think time managing wise is just, I'm definitely a yes person to a lot of things.
Yep.
I like taking on opportunities. I like challenging myself. I like growing. I like getting better. But at the same token, with every yes comes more time.
Yep.
And, you know, it's just that balance. And I've struggled with it. I will hopefully get better.
Yep.
But I think that's just how life happens, you know,
Yep.
especially when you have family and you're trying to build a company and you're trying to be successful and trying to, you know, improve my sales every year, and you know, a lot of it is just my expectations every year get higher, and level of air, no, you know what I mean, level of
I don't.
you know, level, not mistake,
yeah.
you know what I'm trying to say.
I do.
Air, level of air, that doesn't make sense.
Error?
Error, like making a mistake.
Yeah, level of error.
Is that it?
It's like, it's not air though, there's two.
Level
error.
of, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know the term is. Somebody's gonna message me like, idiot, this is what you should have said, but you know what I'm saying, like the margin for error.
Yes, there
we go. Sorry, that was
there
loud. Margin of error. My margin of error is less because every year I'm like, I get frightened looking at my numbers. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna hit that. Like, I know I can. I know the potential to do it, but my goal numbers every year at some point is gonna be unattainable because I'm just gonna end up maxing myself out either physically, time wise, or just straight up dollar amount. I can't.
Yeah.
We can only sell homes at a certain price point. So like, at some point, I'm gonna end up not outselling myself from the year before, but I'm gonna try like hell not to ever have that happen. Which realistically, I know I can't grow at the rate I set my goals at for my entire career. But something to strive for.
Yeah.
You never know. If I do, that'd be pretty dope because I would I'd probably break a lot of historic records, but we'll see. Ellie, anything else that I got to run out to a showing?
No.
You got to run out to some
Dinner.
other dinner. There you go.
Yep.
What else can we leave the listeners on episode 9? Anything? Any
Spring
good?
is next week, so in theory, on Wednesday it will be warm.
And it is what, 5, a little after 5 right now, and it's still light out.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. This is good because now we're going into the late night showings. They don't feel as bad because people can actually see the house.
Exactly.
So this is good. So spring's on its way. Ellie is guaranteeing she's better than Punxsutawney Phil. Punxsutawney, the gopher, the groundhog.
Yeah, that gopher lied to us. So.
Yeah. Ellie's more accurate than the gopher. So for everybody, that is
Ellie
and Galen. We're out. Episode 9. We will see you all next week, and we'll see you in the spring.
Yep.
We're out.